Mavic Mini. Here we go. There was nothing in it. So we are talking about this little drone, this teeny little thing created by DJI. I love it. I've had it for a few days. I've been shooting with it just casually, just around the neighborhood, and actually quite enjoy flying it. It's good to be back in the air. This is actually the first drone I've ever owned, and I'm actually really excited to use it for a lot more projects. I want to actually be able to take it to a bunch of other places, maybe take it to the mountains, have some fun with it, and yeah. I'm not sponsored by DJI as much as I would like to be. I just really like this drone and decided I'm gonna make this video. Also, there is something on the lens cover thingy. So one thing that I really like about this drone is something that wasn't included in the first drone that I've ever flown, and that is this teeny little blade guard that is in the shot. Very nice. Anyway, these blade guards are really nice. Why? Because it's been protecting my blades. And that's something that I always worried about doing when I was using the other drone, because it didn't have any way of protecting it, and I've managed to break a blade and had to repair it, which was fine, not a big deal. And I feel for the Mavic Mini, which especially the blades, you actually have to screw them on with a screwdriver. This is just something that you really should just have. The other drones like the Mavic Pro, and I believe the Mavic Pro 2, have the blades where you can just twist them on and just call it good. These ones you actually have to screw them on. And fortunately, DJI has provided a little screwdriver for us to actually use, so we can just pop these little things off and replace them. There's little screws on there, so that's a little bit of a downside. It's probably the one thing I don't like about the drone, is if I need to replace the blades, I have to go out of my way to unscrew the whole base of the propeller off the drone, unlike the Mavic Pro where you can just kind of pop it on. Now this little cover, I wish they made this just a little bit better, because it feels like it gets stuck. Sometimes it's hard to put on, but the camera, the gimbal, really nice. The one thing that bothered me about the Mavic Pro is you had two parts when it came to protecting the lens. You had the part that actually went around, and then you had an insert that you had to shove in. And I'm glad to see that they've actually removed that piece and they've turned it into just one. But even then, I wish they created this just a little bit better so it wasn't as annoying to pop on and off. And sometimes the camera kind of gets in the way and it's just hard to keep it on. But all things aside, just limiting the things on the drone to just these two little things, quite nice. The drone opens up just like the Mavic Pro and the Mavic Pro 2, I believe. I think actually every single DJI drone except for the Phantom actually opens up like this, where you have the two arms come out and then you have to rotate the bottom ones. But for a small loan of $800, this is actually quite a big, this is actually a pretty good payload for what you pay for. Again, it's really small. On the side it says you've got 249 grams, which is underneath the weight limit, so you do not need a license to legally fly this drone, which I think is awesome, and it's actually kind of the main reason why I bought this drone, because additional licensing, I was like, I don't want to do that. So, perfect. It's quite cheap in comparison to some other drones, but I'm actually pretty happy for its value and for the package that it provides. One major improvement that this drone has compared to the other ones is the battery pack. So this entire thing charges all three of your batteries. I remember in the Mavic Pro, the original Mavic Pro, you had the cords and you had this base plate and you were able to attach all four batteries on each corner. And it took forever to charge those things, and it was just really bulky. where now you have this teeny little package and all the batteries are only this big. It's amazing. And they charge actually pretty quick. And one of the cool things about this battery pack is it actually is also a power bank. So if you have batteries that are charged in here, you can plug in to the out right here and charge like your cell phone or whatever you need, which I feel is actually very nice to have when you're out on a shoot and you need to charge something like your cell phone. Especially if you're using a drone and your phone dies, you can't fly the drone because your phone is what's needed to fly the drone. Because every DJI drone has to have an app to fly it, which I'm okay with. I like the idea of them using people's cell phones to see through the drone, to control the drone, because everybody has a cell phone. So why not just create the software that allows us to do that? And they did, and I think it's great. And the great thing is the app is free too. So it's funny when you take this drone out and you take the battery out, it's surprisingly, it's so much lighter than, honestly, I think the battery weighs just a teeny bit heavier than the drone itself, which is saying something. But you just shove it in right there, close it, and bada bing, bada boom, you're ready. You've got the battery, you've got the drones, and then you've got the controller. Now this controller is gigantic, but the one thing I really like about this controller is, and a lot of people might disagree with me on this, but the little Joy-Cons, or the little joysticks are hidden underneath right inside, and you just kind of grab them, pull them out, and screw them on, and it makes it a lot more compact, which I really like because it allows me to fit it into my camera bag perfectly. So it's really nice to have something that's small and compact like this, and I'm able to just throw this in my camera bag like so. Dropped. And the fact that I can just slap it all in there, easy as that, perfect. Where do you put the phone? Right there, slap the phone right there, and then you've got the cord that you just attach it to. Really helpful, really nice. And then obviously DJI provides multiple cables for people who have different phones. So give me 1 second. Okay, and that's how it is. You just throw the phone right on it and you can see. Now currently, I'm using my phone as a monitor because I have the DJI Raven Eye for the Ronin, which will be reviewed in another video, but quite great. And yeah, so you just put the phone on and then you pull that cord out, plug it in, turn on the app, turn on the controller, turn on the drone, and then you are all set. You are ready to fly. Just rotate these little things. Whoop. Boom, boom. That's it. This teeny little thing. Honestly, I could probably throw that in my back pocket. I know I can throw it in my jacket pocket. Just kind of put it there, and then forgetting that I put all these things behind me. Oops. But yeah, clunky. I don't like the way these attach, but it's okay. Although I like how these things attach. These blade guards are awesome, and I wish they included that in the older models because it would have saved me less of it would save me less anxiety, you know what I mean? Okay, and then we just make sure all the blades are all in their little spots. So the blades kind of just sit underneath camera. So blades just kind of sit underneath right there, and then the blades can just stick right inside the guard, and that is it. Beautiful little thing. Now let's go fly it. All right, so we've basically got the drone all set up. We just kind of get that. So I'm just gonna put it right there. And then all you have to do, you should probably turn it on first. So you just kind of grab it. You got the bottom button. You press that twice. And it makes its little sound. You just kind of leave it. You turn on the remote the same way. And then all we need to do, and it's gonna be really dark, so apologize. On my phone, you just get that set up, and then you hit go fly, and then you just hit the button on the app, which you probably can't see because it's such a dark screen, but you basically hit takeoff, and the wonderful thing just starts flying. very nice. I'm gonna try to record this with the drone as well. So that's basically it. That's all you really have to do. You just kind of set it up and then you just start flying it. You just press up and there it goes. Press it down, it goes down. You move it to the side and it turns and pivots. And then on the other stick, you actually move it to whatever direction you want it to go. Forward, backwards, left and right. That's a B, holy crap. Okay, so I can't really see myself. I hope I'm in autofocus, I think so. So, very first thing to point out, the DJI Mini 2 is actually quite a phenomenal drone. And I think it's quite great, and the fact that I don't have to have a license to fly it is awesome. Things that I like about this drone: the weight, it's awesome. It's compact, it's small. Number two, it's actually quite silent when it comes to taking off. When you first start the drone, it's pretty silent, and then it eventually gets thrust and it's up and it sounds like a regular drone. But even then, it's actually quite silent. Now, some of the downsides of this drone I feel that I should address is some of the other drones like the Mavic Pro and the Mavic Pro 2, I do know they have their own version of quick shots. They have their own integrated fly patterns where you can have your own, well, you can get this certain amount of shots and the drone has certain capabilities. For example, follow mode. So the Mavic Mini 2 doesn't actually have a follow mode, but I've managed to get the same similar shot just by holding the remote and just pushing it slightly forward so it doesn't hit me as I'm walking. And it kind of worked. It wasn't great. On the Mavic Pro, the one that I've flown, did have a follow mode, but the downside of that was there was a minimum altitude. And on the Mavic Mini 2, I'm able to actually kind of just work with it and create the shot myself and actually have a lower angle, which I actually think is a little bit better. So yeah, the only thing that I need for this drone now is a bundle of ND filters, because I would still like to get the proper motion shutter angle for recording video, but I can't do that when it's incredibly bright outside. So yeah, that's kind of an issue. But I've made it work. Honestly, with the higher shutter angle, it's been fine. I think I've been shooting something around 90 degrees or even lower. And it's been fine. The footage I've seen looks crisp and I'm actually quite happy with it, even though it's not that 180 shutter. And yeah, it's been fine. I think the other thing that they should integrate for the Mavic Mini 2 is having multiple color profiles. From what I've seen, I don't think I've seen a flat profile like a log profile. So I think that's something that should be added in a firmware. So we should get more dynamic range with a flat profile. So that's it for the DJI Mavic Mini 2. Great drone. I am not sponsored. I'm not endorsed. I just really like this drone and I think it's amazing and I wanted to share it. It's awesome. So hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment, do whatever you want, stay creative, and I will see you in the next video. Right onto the camera. Just kind of stayed there. Seriously, I really love the idea of using the Raven knife for this. Like, that's awesome. Just kind of, you know? Just kind of like a focus. Thank you. Wow. Cameraception. Cameraception. We like it.